Elden Ring has an amazing array of visuals, scenes, places, and stuff to see. It's obviously all got a certain look to it, but some of it is a little creepier and eccentric than other places. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 Elden Ring locations that are freakier than you thought. Starting off with number 10, it's Linnels Catacombs. We're going to start off with a location I haven't really seen anybody talk about. These catacombs are found underneath the capital city in the subterranean shunning grounds, which are exactly as freaky as you thought, by the way. It's a miserable maze of a sewer filled with dangerous enemies, and it just overall sucks to be in. Finding these catacombs is almost relief, because you're at least not in the sewer anymore, but that relief changes to confusion really quickly as this place keeps going and going and going. It seems like a normal enough dungeon at first. You wander around, take out a few zombies, go up some stairs, fight one of those cursed omen dudes, then fall back down to where you started. Okay, so I missed something, right? I go back, and it's all not quite exactly the same. Like, there's an omen guy standing over the corpse of the previous one I killed now, so I keep going, I fall back down to the start, and now the exit's gone. It's just gone. Yeah, it's an endlessly repeating hallway that changes when you go through it. The variations are subtle, but they're there, and it actually kind of freaked me out when I realized what was going on. There is, as far as I know, no other dungeon like this in the game, let alone in the entire Souls series, so suddenly finding myself in a crazy PT dungeon was kind of surprising. It doesn't help that this place can only be accessed through the shunning grounds, a paranoia-inducing place that's built like a maze, so you're already a little freaked out by the time you get into this dungeon. But when I suddenly found out that I was trapped in a loop, yeah, I was ready to get out. I was done. Moving on to Nokrin Eternal City. This location isn't really freaky at all. It's actually a pretty majestic and mysterious place, but there's a nasty surprise that's an impressive combination of being both kind of ridiculous but also really intense. One thing you've probably gotten used to at this point in the game are these rolling steel ball traps. These things harass you at a few key locations, and they do exactly what you would expect. The trap is triggered, a giant ball rolls down some stairs to kill you. All you have to do is get out of the way and you're good, right? But not in Nokrin. You see, in Nokrin, not everything is as it seems. There's this weird chapel kind of place you gotta travel through to progress. You start from above and you need to fall into the main hall below. There's a steel ball thing in the center. It is a Souls game, so for most players, their trap sense starts going off immediately. You just know when you fall down, there's gonna be a thing that's going to start rolling, and yeah, it does, but that's not the freaky part. The thing that really got me, and I'm guessing got a lot of other players as well, is that it started rolling again. This stupid giant ball just hones in on you and never stops chasing you while you're in this room. Like, it breaks the rules of what you have come to expect for a big steel ball. Yeah, it's one of those things that's kind of ridiculous, but also freaky. The funniest thing about it is finding out that it's an enemy in disguise. You can hurt this thing just like anything else. You can find a few more of these things in later areas, but this first encounter is definitely the freakiest of them. And number 8, Dragon Burnt Ruins. Like, we have to highlight this one. Sure, it's one of the first things that can even happen in this game, but it just can't be denied how effective it was. You know exactly what we're talking about here, by the way. The infamous teleporting chest. The Dragon Burnt Ruins is one of the very first locations you can explore in Elden Ring. It's a place found on the lake right outside the stranded graveyard. There doesn't really seem to be anything special about the place at first. It's just got some zombies and dogs wandering around that aren't a lot of trouble to deal with. You find 2 sets of stairs that lead underground, one leading to a real chest, and the other, well, it's what we're talking about here. You open the wrong chest, and instead of getting some kind of reward, you're instantly transported to a miserable and dangerous place called the Celia Crystal Tunnel. After getting transported, there's no way to teleport out. Your only option is to escape this place on foot, which is easier said than done. The first thing you see is one of these digger guys, who aren't that freaky, but that is also a fake out. They put one of these dudes in to distract you from the real horror of this place. These nasty as hell pests who attack relentlessly and are freaky looking half prawn, half centipede things. The whole thing is one of the cruelest pranks the developers pull on you in the entire game. It's actually kind of funny in a way, but when you get caught in the trap, it's one of the freakiest moments in the whole game. At number 7 is Ordina Liturgical Town. A weird one. Deep in the consecrated snowfield lies a seemingly abandoned town. If you take the time to explore it, you'll find there's nothing here but ghosts and a few strange barriers blocking your way. There's only one way to remove those barriers, by entering a strange alternate version of the town from the Ever Jail and lighting 3 candles. When you first pass over to the alternate version of Ordina, it seems safe enough. Of course, there has to be something lurking around, but what is actually there is much worse than you will have expected, I promise. You're wandering around and then suddenly a black knife assassin appears out of nowhere and backstabs you, either killing you instantly or taking most of your health, and then he disappears again. Trying to fight these guys is pretty much impossible. They're totally invisible, they can't be targeted, and the only clue they're even here are these footsteps in the snow, and that doesn't really help because they dodge around like crazy and that leaves no trace. Oh yeah, and their attack just bypasses all of your defenses. They're invisible, nearly invincible killers that will scare the absolute crap out of you the first time you meet them. Basically, the only way to deal with them is avoid them. You gotta plan a route through town and quickly get on the rooftops where they can't get you, and that's pretty much the only way to survive. At number 6 is the Frenzied Flame Village, found in the northern part of Liurnia. The village itself isn't that freaky, except for one big flaming thing. On your approach to this place, it seems pretty standard, and is in fact very similar to another village you can find in the Weeping Peninsula. The freaky part comes in when you get close. Suddenly, out of nowhere, you're getting the buildup of the Deadly Madness status effect. What's causing it is coming from this nearby tower. There's this giant flaming thing. It's kind of like an eye floating above the watchtower, and if you ever come under its gaze, you're screwed. It's the only thing like this in the entire game, and it forces you to hide and carefully make your way up to avoid succumbing to madness. Pretty much any location related to the Frenzied Flame in Elden Ring is a little freaky, but out of all the villages and locations affected by this strange form of madness, this specific place is the worst. And number 5 is the Round Table Hold. Like the Firelink Shrine or the Hunter's Dream before it, the Round Table Hold is supposed to be a place of rest and solace, a safety net from the hostile and unforgiving world beyond its walls. At first, that's exactly what this place is too, but as the game goes on, slowly but surely, it becomes a more unpleasant place. It sort of becomes a freaky location in general after a certain point in the story, but I want to highlight a few specific moments here. For one thing, if you decide to be brave, you can actually jump down to this bottom floor hall, and while you're down there, you will meet a nasty surprise. Not even in the supposed safe house are you safe from invasions, because if you go down here, you'll have to contend with a dude called Mad Tongue Albrick, who will absolutely mess you up early in the game. Just the fact that an enemy can attack you here almost completely breaks the illusion of safety this place once had, but it gets worse. After finding one of the secret Halig Tree medallions, something really strange happens when you return to the hold. All the lights are out and you get jumped by Ensha, the guy standing outside of Gildian's room the entire game. This ambush comes completely out of nowhere, and when it happened, I was actually pretty damn freaked out. The fact that this whole thing is a one-time event makes it that much more freaky. When you play a really long game like this one, you get used to certain locations, but it suddenly changes out of nowhere, and that's pretty shocking. And there's still some other freaky stuff about the hold, like how you can find it in the royal capital, only now it's disheveled and abandoned. Basically, there's a lot of mysterious things about this place, as well as some unquestionably freaky moments. And number 4 is Stormville Castle. The first major dungeon of the game is Stormville, and for the most part, it's the kind of castle you'd expect from a Souls game. There's some freaky elements built in, like this disgusting grafting room filled with human body parts and a grotesque grafted cyan enemy, but that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm really interested in is what is underneath the castle. If you're thorough about the exploration in this game, there's a ledge you can fall off of that will lead you to a path all the way down to the gorge cutting to the middle of the castle. Down there, you'll find a ghostly atmosphere and some rats, but it doesn't seem like there's anything too bad, at least at first. Continue down the path and you'll be ambushed by this gigantic tree monster that bursts out of the grounds. That alone would be freaky, but it's what's beyond this thing that's really of our interest. At the end of the path, you'll find this, a bizarre head that looks like a squid combined with a man splayed out onto the ground. Beside it, you can find this strange bloodstain showing someone getting impaled, but that's it. Like, what the hell is going on here, and why is it underneath the castle? So, if you investigate it further, you find out that this is the corpse of Godwyn, the first of the demigods to die. Also, for whatever reason, this isn't even his true body, which is actually found elsewhere, but him being the first son of the golden lineage seems to have somehow cursed Stormvale. Like, if you notice all these weird holes in the castle walls, they're not from artillery or dragon attacks or anything, they're actually rot caused by Godwyn, Prince of Death's corpse. The place is literally rotting from within, and you never know it unless you found this weird-ass body and started the quest line from here. And number 3 is the Raya Lucaria Academy. The academy's pretty creepy by default, with all these giant stone-masked wizards, but for this entry, we're really focusing on one aspect of it. Underneath the academy is some kind of giant elevator, and if you either intentionally or unintentionally fall off of it, you're gonna end up in this little arena with a nasty Iron Maiden-looking monster. This thing has a particularly nasty attack when it opens up and grabs you with whatever this is inside of it, and while it just spits you out if it doesn't kill you, if it does, that's when things start to get freaky. Instead of getting sent back to whatever side of grace you previously saved at, you instead appear in the Volcano Manor, one of the most hostile areas in the game. The place is filled with deadly lava and strange monsters that want you dead, and the only way out is to follow the lava flow deeper and deeper underground. This is all basically the last thing you want to do when you're trapped in an unfamiliar area, but you really have no other choice. You just keep going deeper until you arrive at this dark cave where the floor falls out from under you. From there, the only way out is through a fog door where you have to fight 2 of these abductor virgins at the same time. If you're pretty low level, like if you get caught by one of these things and you first enter the academy, then these guys are nearly impossible to fight. They're tough enough by themselves, so making you fight 2 of them at once is straight up sadistic. So just be careful when you're exploring the academy, because it has one of these really freaky surprises hiding in its deepest depths. At number 2 is Caria Manor, a simple entry that can be summed up in one word: hands. Caria Manor is one of the major side locations in Liurna and is found in the northwest corner. From the outside, it looks like any old place you'd expect to find here, and for the most part, there's nothing that bizarre. So going in, I wasn't really expecting much, but that quickly changes when you pass through the gates. The place is actually swarming with these grotesque giant hand monsters that love to ambush you, pop up out of the ground, grab you, or just paralyze you so you can't do anything, but watch as they crawl up to you and squeeze you with their, like dozen or more fingers. These things are actually freaky as hell, and their presence makes this place so damn weird and unpleasant to explore. The ambush ones are especially nasty because they love to hide right underneath an item, so when you go back to pick it up, they burst out of the ground, just grab you. These things are all over the place too. They're like the worst, and they're the single reason why the Caria Manor is so incredibly freaky. And finally, at number 1, it's the Forsaken Depths. At the bottom of the subterranean shunning grounds, you can find a boss, Mog the Omen. After you kill this guy, you get a reward, and for most people, that's the end of it. That must be the end of the shunning grounds, right? Pretty much every other area in Elden Ring ends with a boss, so you leave and you never really think about the place again. But if you're crazy enough to seek the Frenzied Flame, then you know there has to be something else down here. In the mountaintop of the Giants, you can find a crazy guy who tells you the flame resides in the deepest, darkest place underneath the capital. So we figured there must be a way to get even deeper underground, and there is. If you leave and come back to this boss area and look at the altar, it will actually open up and reveal to a passage that leads to, well, something. It's a massive vertical tomb that's filled wall to wall with the corpses of nomads who all look like they've gone mad. The volume of bodies alone makes this place one of the freakiest locations ever, but there's so many bodies piled on top of each other that it barely looks like you can get through the place. Occasionally you'll run into a still living one of these guys who attacks you with madness shooting from their eyes, but they're relatively rare, even if they almost blend in with the other corpses that fill this place. The only way to get lower is to carefully make your way down a series of coffins before the floor finally breaks and reveals the entrance to the room containing the 3 fingers. The whole sequence is so mysterious and creepy, especially if you manage to find it all by yourself. No other location in Elden Ring gives you that I shouldn't be here feeling that this place does. It's not as bombastically scary as other areas in the game, but no other location freaked me out more. We do have a quick bonus for you as well, the Ainsole River, which we had to give a bit of a shout out. because this place really just has it all. Horrible giant ants that seem to appear out of nowhere, nasty basilisks that live in corpse and flesh-filled caves, and it's the first place most people will encounter this gigantic creature called the malformed star. None of these things are the freakiest on their own, but back to back, they make this place a real nightmare to explore, especially if it's your first time visiting. That's all for today though. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. The best way to see them first is of course a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.